Tonight on Celts in the Caribbean, we'll be talking about gender reveal parties,
migrating Russian eagles,
hash cakes at funerals,
the world's scariest haunted house,
and the world's most expensive whiskey.
And what rats do to relax. Alright, enjoy.
Okay.
Welcome to Celts in the Caribbean. My name's Alan.
And I am Yunan. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, so it's Scotland and Ireland coming to you from the beautiful Bonaire. It's episode 12 already, Yunan. We're getting through it.
Yeah, we're flying through it.
I've got some. It just went Halloween.
Yeah.
So I've got some Halloween related news.
What did you dress up as this year, Alan?
I dressed up as an anglerfish.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I put a little light on the end of my dongle or whatever.
On your dongle?
Or lure, I think. I'm sure there's a scientific word for it. I'm going to call it my dongle.
Nice.
And unfortunately, I was wearing like my fiance's yoga pants, which are like kind of tight. Well, not kind of
tight. Was that
tight,
necessary for the costume?
Well, it was mermaid yoga pants, so it kind of looked like fish scales.
Okay, cool.
So other than that, I just had like all I had was like a mask, and I figured it's going to get real hot, so I've got to do something if I take my mask off. So yeah, I had my yoga pants on, but they didn't leave a whole lot to the imagination.
I can imagine.
They were rather tight. Try not to imagine. It's best not. Stop imagining that.
Too late.
So I decided I needed to feel comfortable while I was out, so I put a unicorn.
A sock down there.
Well, I tried the sock, and that looked like it looked a bit awkward. So I decided to go less awkward and put a unicorn down there. So I had a stuffed toy unicorn whose body was down my shorts and just his head and the horn was poking out.
Oh, this is just visceral.
It had the added bonus. It was a pencil case, so I could put my money. I used it like a little sporran. So,
oh, nice.
So when I was paying my bar tab, I just pulled my unicorn out of my crotch.
You were like a kangaroo.
Yeah. It was quite special.
Yeah, it sounds pretty special.
The photos, unfortunately, the unicorn's horn was a bright pink, so in some of the photos,
it's an unfortunate color for being around your crotch.
Yes, when I was sitting down, I had not thought that far ahead, and it looked like I should have been arrested. But luckily, the police
I'm still contemplating why you needed to have a unicorn down your pants to be an anglerfish.
Because it's the national animal of Scotland, was my official response. But that doesn't really make any more sense than having a unicorn down your pants. Did you dress up?
I did not. This year, in the last couple of years, we haven't really dressed up. No.
We went as Axl Rose and Slash last year.
I saw. I was wondering whether or not it was going to happen. I had like a foam guitar that I had to make for a case here. I was going to give it to Trisha, but I totally forgot. What was the best costume that you've ever had to wear? Wore?
Maybe I used to work for a bar called Cheeky Monkeys in Byron Bay in Australia, and so I used to wear the gorilla costume all the time, and I loved that. And it was back when I was single. It was a surprising aphrodisiac
for other silverbacks.
Yeah, I just go out wearing my gorilla, and then I take the helmet off or the hat off,
and then they go, ah!
Yeah, all went down from there.
Very good. So what are we talking about this week, mate?
Well, I wanted to start with some Halloween related news. I've got a lot of decent headlines this week. One involving rats that you should hang on till. Like we'll put that in the second half.
I am gripped.
Yeah. A lot of really good sports news coming from Tyson Fury camp. He's been. We could have done an entire.
I have been following
episode
this with Tyson, and even just as it was about to start, he was like tweeting more shit. It's very exciting.
Just follow him around.
Yeah.
Then I don't need to. I mean, I do most of my research. I think we were just discussing before the show while sitting on the toilet. That's my main.
Yeah.
That's my office for the Celts in the Caribbean, I would say.
It's contemplation time.
Do you want to go? I've got two McDonald's. I've got two Halloween stories. Do you want to go McDonald's first, which is slightly depressing,
Or McDonald's, because you said you have two of them.
Yeah, so I got McDonald's, and I've got the Desolation Haunted House.
Let's go for McDonald's first.
Okay, so McDonald's had to issue an apology.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
Yeah, I did.
So McDonald's had to issue an apology this week for their Halloween marketing. So they came out with the slogan "Sunday Bloody Sunday" to advertise their McFlurries.
Yeah. This was only in Portugal, though, eh?
Yeah, it was, but still.
Oh no, definitely. There's a definite but still to that for sure. But yeah, it's pretty crazy that no one in the marketing team was like, "Hey, this is pretty sensitive.
Yeah, I think
this is maybe not something that we should be talking about McFlurries with."
Maybe they'd been out drinking some black and tans and thought, actually, it's probably been long enough. Now we can.
Well, see, that's
call some stuff after.
that's the other thing is the black and tans thing, you know. So there's been
follow that. I want an Irish car bomb on the side there.
Yeah. Like about some of the bars in the US that are serving like black and tans and like Irish car bombs and stuff, and then people obviously getting offended, but then the bar owners are like, "Yeah, fuck it."
Irish car bombs are delicious, though.
Oh, they are not.
Wait, isn't that Guinness with Baileys on top
and whiskey?
Yeah,
and you drop it in, and then
what's not delicious about that?
Yeah, but you have to like sink it. It's not enjoyable to sink a pint of Guinness.
Oh.
I like to savor it. It's just like oh.
I can't remember what's in it, but my favorite Guinness cocktail was called Hooligan Soup.
Okay.
And it was like, I think it was Guinness and cider and blackcurrant with maybe a shot of like Cointreau or something.
This sounds like someone didn't know how to make a snake bite and just made you like Hooligan's soup instead.
Yeah, it was awesome. The next day was not awesome, but like the night was a lot of fun.
In some bars, if people don't like that real like irony taste of the Guinness, like that metallic taste, you know, like it's like coffee and not carbonated and whatnot, so someone might want to have a pint, but they'll ask for a dash of blackcurrant. That's pretty typical in Ireland.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not from Irish people, but typically tourists. But it
is
a thing.
They're in
like,
Temple Bar and
I want a Guinness.
Do you serve it in
with a little bit of blackcurrant?
It'll probably be a half pint. I can only do a half.
And what's the next one? Because the haunted house, what's that?
Okay, so this is a haunted house called. This guy's been running it for a few years. His name is Russ. I can't read my writing again. Russ McKemmy, something like that. And I think it's run out of McKenney Manor. And this haunted house is called Desolation. If you complete the haunted house, you get $20,000. Okay, and nobody's ever completed it in the 5 years it's been running.
No way.
It looks horrendous. So I've not written down where it's at, but it looks like some like SAS training you would go through. But so when you start off, you have to sign like a watertight like clause saying no matter what happens, even if I say I want out of this, you can keep going. So even if I'm screaming no, I guess they must have some kind of safety word. I'm not sure. I didn't delve into.
This is not Eyes Wide Shut,
yeah. But like I watched one of the signings of the scripts, and they're there like dunking the guy's head underwater. It was a guy and a girl, and dunking their heads underwater and going like, "You can leave now." Like telling them leave now, and they film all this, and the person's like, "No, I don't want to leave," and they'll force them under, and like even the signing of the contract is really extreme. And then they're doing stuff like the actual haunted house is stuff like it looks like they're doing Chinese water torture. It looks like they're getting like kidnapped. It looks terrifying. It looks physically painful as well.
And how would you run something like that with multiple people going through it?
Here's a picture. So I'm just showing you a picture from it. This guy is like just caked in mud. Like,
that's a person.
That's a person. Like I'm talking inside his mouth and everything. He's been like dunked underneath the water. So this isn't like you're walking through like a haunted house where a badly dressed zombie pops out and goes boo.
No, this is like tough mudder.
Like, so this guy's got duct tape around his eyes, and they're putting like maggots into his mouth, and it looks like he's got like vomit on his chin and stuff, and it just looks
disgusting more than anything.
Yeah. What's this? This one's like they've got a drill going into like a chick's mouth who looks like she's covered in oil or something.
Jesus Christ!
It is.
What's the one above?
Super intense. I think this is an advert for two people in love drinking.
That looks terrifying. That is
the most.
What are they on?
What are you
Is that a balcony with champagne?
Get out while you still can.
Yes. She said yes. No!
It was in the contract. All right.
Ow.
Yeah, so that's my...
That is horrendous, though. God, it doesn't look like a Halloween thing, though. It just looks like a perseverance thing.
Yeah,
though.
so I don't know what he gets out of it. Like, because I don't think... He does it for free. You don't have to pay to do this house. Other than... I think maybe he gets money from doing a show or something, or like get a lot of hits on.
So how the fuck does that work if he's going to give 20 grand to someone?
Well, I think he's got cash. He lives in a manor. Like, so
this guy just sounds like a fucking sycophant.
A little bit of a hobby
sycophant.
for him.
He's just like, what do you call it? Someone who's into masochism or
sadomasochist.
Yeah, he takes
possibly, but I don't think there's anything sexy about. I don't know.
I don't know. That drill looked pretty fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are my Halloween stories. You got anything? Anything spooky for our Halloween spectacular? I mean, it is November 2nd, so...
No, I actually have absolutely nothing. I was going to talk about the world's most expensive whiskey. I thought this would be right down your street.
Is it from... I've heard of a few. There's one that was like the Shackleton whiskey, where they found it like frozen in ice.
In
like
Everest?
I was going to say like the North or South.
Oh,
Pole.
is that who's the one who done Everest? That's a different question.
Yeah.
So Shackleton led the what was a polar explorer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then they found they went back to one of the camps and found like a few bottles frozen in ice and managed to like.
No, this is
taste it.
This is a 60-year-old Macallan. It went for 1.45 million at Sotheby's last week. I think it was last week, a couple of weeks ago. And that works out at £50,000 a dram.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. You need to.
Does it say who bought it? Like, was it a hotel or something that wanted to be like?
That was actually part of the news story. It was it was like an anonymous person that bought it through phone in or whatever, you know. So like the person said there was like 3 different reasons that the person would buy it. Was like to add to a collection, because they really liked drinking scotch, like good scotch, or I can't remember the third one, but the guy was saying it was more likely to be it was just someone who would never drink it and would just add it to a collection to finish a collection.
Or the fourth reason, I nicked your credit card last week.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be anonymous.
I have the guy. It's quite funny actually, because there's one person who's managed to have a couple of drams of this specific 60-year-old whiskey already over the last few years.
So the bottle's open?
No. So I would assume that this has come from a cask.
Okay.
And then over the years the cask has been bottled out or whatever. But he went to a tasting at Macallan's, and he's like really well renowned and so on. So obviously it's not your regular Joe Soap walking in for a tasting tour. And his notes on it were just like, it was nice, but there's definitely a lot better whiskeys out there. So I was like, oh man.
I reckon if it was like if it was one of my mates that bought it and was being like a dicky fucking prick about it and be like, oh, look at my $1 million bottle of whiskey, I'd definitely pull out that review when he was like,
yeah.
Yeah,
there's definitely
my 12-year-old Highland Park actually rates.
It's almost like he's like, Well, I actually got one from Tesco the other day. It was
This Tesco value.
this Chinese whiskey that I bought for €5 is much better. No,
90% ethanol.
I don't think
Delicious.
I don't think it was as bad as that. But he was just like, it's great, but it's definitely not the best.
Okay, wow.
Not most expensive though.
Yeah. Well, I've got a nice link.
Go for it.
So we're talking about, eccentric purchases.
Yep.
So, and you know how I'm a big fan of Shark Tank, or Dragon's Den as it's called in the UK, and I quite often go on Kickstarter and have a little look and have a beer and pretend I'm judging the new product. I think this product's actually already made.
Is this like your battery cleaner solution one?
It is, well, it's a jacuzzi for your balls, and that's all. So it's not like just, a regular jacuzzi, your balls
I'll be
are
honest,
in there.
I am interested, but do I have to sit in like a wheelchair with a little zone cut out of it?
No, it's like it looks just slightly bigger than
Your balls.
your average size. So here we go. I'm showing you in a photo of it right now. So this is the
Looks like two
jacuzzi for your
egg cups
balls.
just thrown into a bidet.
Are you ready for the? I like that it has like a little cushion area. So
What? That's just on the tent.
well, I'd imagine, yeah, because you're going to go that way, so your balls must go in here.
So where the fuck do you sit on this thing? I'm not going to
Well-
sit on the couch watching TV with this thing.
That's exactly what I would do.
Really?
I think so.
The water's gonna the ball water's gonna go everywhere.
That's true.
If you get the bubbles that I'm assuming that you're gonna get, maybe if you fill it too much and then you don't anticipate like volume expansion when you put something into it, i.e. testicles. Oh, it's just a nightmare. That
I'm gonna have to have my sofa shrink wrapped before this arrives in the post. For all our, so we do some research on all our stories, and all our stories are legitimate. I know this sounds like nonsense, but if you follow us on Facebook, I will post links to all the stuff that we talk about.
There's literally a big red sign above it saying "Certified No Bullshit."
Certified. This is Aussie Man Reviews. This one's come.
Okay.
So
and
I had a
the
quick.
internet. So
I didn't go to the website, but he does say there is a gold-plated version that goes for $10K. So I can't imagine that looks like a $20 product.
yeah,
I would say.
is it
Or
plastic or
I
porcelain or
think
what?
it's pretty shiny. It looks kind of plastic.
I just
but,
don't understand that little piece of cushion.
well, that's. Yeah, I think you're right. It's for like the taint.
Yeah.
Put it in there.
So
Or maybe when you're resting them when they're not in the hot water, because sometimes when you go into jacuzzi, you go toe and you're like, ooh, and you have to go in slowly because it's a little bit painful. That's probably like you do a little dip, rest on the cushion, little deeper dip, rest on the cushion.
I am so freaked out that you're like doing all the motions right now.
Again, we're super glad we're not doing this. So you can find us on YouTube, but you can't find the video on YouTube. So, well, it'd be even more unpleasant if I was still wearing my yoga leggings.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to demonstrate this with a unicorn horn.
Here we go. Are you ready for the name of it?
Oh, can I?
You want to guess? What would if this was your invention? What would you call the ball jacuzzi?
The bubble tester?
The bubble. That's pretty good.
The bubble testy?
Bubble testy's better. Yeah, the bubble tester was actually weak. I just
No,
trying
but
to build you up with.
Oh, thank you. What's it called?
It's called the Testicles.
Oh, that
Testicuzzi.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's not bad. The Testicuzzi.
It does make me think a few times about my koozie that I use to hold my beer.
Yeah, all things of comfort.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was definitely enlightening into your personal life.
You are welcome.
What about?
I bought you one for Christmas.
Yes. You don't need to do the gold-plated one. It's all right. Did you see the one with the funeral in northern Germany, where they accidentally served hash cake to the people who were at the after service?
I did not know.
Yeah, people were brought to hospital with like chest pains, nausea. They just obviously, because you think something's yeah. If you have hash cake and you know about it, you're like yes. But those symptoms, if you don't know about it, would freak you out. No.
Did it say how the accident happened? Was it a catering
Actually,
mishap, or was it like a?
It's even more funny how it accidentally happened. Like, so it was the daughter of an employee from the restaurant who, I don't know, it was like a burgeoning cake business or something, and maybe they were giving all their cake business to her. Oh. And she also had made a hash cake for another party, like a friend's party or something, and she made a cake for this. So it's not like you celebrate with cake, it's just like people would get like a piece of cake after their meal or whatever. But her mother came in and lifted the wrong cake and took the hash cake to the restaurant, and the party goers got like just a really solid good chocolate cake.
Ouch. It's a lot of questions. That is hash legal in Germany? Do you know? Has it got similar laws to?
I don't know. Like
laws?
I know
because she could be in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah, for sure. Right? But I know back in the day, like a lot of Germans used to come to the Netherlands to get their weed and stuff. So I don't know how much it's changed. You know, obviously it's northern Germany, so that's not coming to the Netherlands. But I know back in the day that people were crossing borders to get it legally and take it back and stuff. So I don't know how legal it is, really.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, good luck to you.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, you seem to make a decent cake.
So let's move from Germany to Russia. Did you hear?
Is this going to be about Conor McGregor?
It's not, but I've got a lot of sports news this
Okay.
week as well. This is about the migrating Russian eagles, the majestic eagles. Did you hear about this one?
I saw the headline.
Yeah, that's all I've read.
Saw that. Okay, so we're on the same level playing field.
A lot of a Russian science group.
Yeah.
What are a group of scientists called? Like a
gaggle?
A gaggle
No.
of scientists.
A gaggle of scientists?
Yeah.
Flock?
So a flock of scientists, and have unfortunately had their science project come to an abrupt end. They were monitoring the Russian eagles, or probably not specifically Russian eagles. Fuck. So they're monitoring an eagle. So the eagles, they've stuck transmitters on them. The eagles have fucked off on their migrating patterns. And
doing eagle
due
shit.
to, I guess, their whatever deal they had with the telecommunication company, the eagles have run up massive data roaming charges for the scientists, like because of the transmitter on the back, and they've had to end the monitoring of the eagles.
You read so much more of this article than I did, because when it says like they racked up so many data roaming charges, I was like, what do you mean, like? They were like calling other eagles to see where they were. Where are you at now? I'm in Turkmenistan.
Everybody knows you use a radio when communicating with
exactly
eagles.
CB.
So this is this is purely a tracking device.
Oh,
that's why I stuttered and tripped over the fact I don't think they're actually Russian eagles.
And what was the charges that they racked up?
Oh mate, I don't know.
I don't know. Thousands and thousands probably.
I mean, imagine the Russian science community has almost an infinite budget when it comes to monitoring eagle migration.
I would say so.
They're probably trying to weaponize them, I'd imagine.
I would say so. Well, they already kind of... Well, no, it's belugas, isn't it?
Belugas, yeah. Dolphins, turtles, unicorns, everything. Anything's a weapon.
Yeah. Yeah. In the right hands, that is.
All right, so we touched on a bit of MMA. Do you want to jump across and I mean, traditionally you do sports at the end, but do you want to do mix shit up and do some sports in the middle?
I think I will, but I also don't have it written down. I just thought when you were talking about Russia,
I've got it written down. Are you talking about Popeye?
No.
Yes,
I know about Popeye. Yeah.
Okay, so this was my Russian sports story.
Oh, what a nut job!
So there's a lad. I think he's an Instagram sensation.
I have been following him for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I'd heard of him before, and essentially Is it just? It must be a specific synthetic oil that he
injects into his biceps.
muscles,
Yeah,
and he looks like an actual Popeye. Is like they're just engorged,
and they're
huge muscles.
They're so out of shape though too. But that's part of what is happening too, because what he's injecting into the muscle is just like expanding it, but it's not like you're working out at the gym and everything is like moving at a normal pace. This is just like just inflated, and it's coming out all bubbly, and his biceps just look like cellulite times 1,000.
I assume he does some working out while he's there, but he's saying he's regretting it because the oil is like degenerating his muscles,
and he may have to have his arms amputated.
Yeah, they're starting to get so painful, and I think he's just striving to stand out or striving to be an Instagram influencer or whatever. He thought it was worth the risk, and he's become this. But
he started a GoFundMe now for his medical bills. He has to reach like 50,000 so as they can actually like redo the process, essentially try and get that shit out of his system, because otherwise he will lose his arms. He's like, it's degenerating so fast.
So I guess people have been giving him a bit of shit because he looks like the strongest man in the world. Like he looks like a cartoon character. So in order to prove everybody wrong, he stepped into the MMA ring.
Oh, that's so crazy, yeah.
And got the shit kicked out of him.
The guy was like 46 or something. Is that, not saying 46 is old, but I just mean like...
Yeah, but he was 2/3 of his size.
Yeah, he was tiny and like... But the guy was like a seasoned MMA fighter, and he just like whooped his ass. What, he like knock him out in the first round or something?
I think it was the third round. I think it was a tap out, but it looked... I did watch it, and it was like a little bit of a freak show. I don't think that the other fighter really wanted to be there either.
No,
he was just like,
he's probably used to fighting
the end
actual
of my career.
Fighters, and
at that age, you're coming to the end of your career. He's like, I'll get a little bit of a payday.
Did you see this with? Okay, well, it's a segue, but I do want to go back to the Russian bullshit with sport, but
there's so much of it.
But Nigel Benn, did you know he was having a comeback?
I only knew when the comeback was off.
Yeah, exactly. I just read it this evening. I was like, holy shit, Nigel Benn was coming back to fight another...
I wanted to say he's 55 years old.
55, yeah. Those of you who don't know Nigel Benn, he was like world middleweight and super middleweight champion, and
used to be a cartoon called Mr. Benn. He time traveled.
But he was like the epitome of that era. Like it was like him and Chris Eubank and Steve Collins. Like there was like a bunch of these lads, and they were just like really well known. And Nigel Benn was also infamous for that terrible fight that went really badly wrong. I'm not going to say his name because I'm probably going to get it wrong. It's maybe disrespectful, but he fought the guy, and the guy his brain swole in the ring, and he died.
Oh, shit.
And it wasn't his last fight. He fought Steve Collins from Ireland, and like that was his last fight when Steve Collins beat him on a rematch.
But he held a few belts.
Yeah, he did. He was fantastic, and he's also a commentator on it too. Like, so if you watch any of the boxing matches, Nigel Benn will frequently pop up. He's not as engaging as Chris Eubanks, and
isn't Eubanks' son now fighting?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. But I thought that was hilarious to just see, like, oh my god, Nigel Benn back in the ring at 55. But it's a shame he had a shoulder injury, and then it couldn't go any further. What I was saying earlier, and I don't have it written down, but it's about Conor McGregor. Mm-hmm. Did you see these press conferences that he had in Russia?
I didn't, but he's been in the news a lot this week because he was coming out of retirement again, and then he got
the sexual.
I didn't see the sexual. No, he was done for assault. So the one in Ireland when he was doing his Whisky tour. So he was he was convicted because he pleaded guilty.
So it's also in yeah. It came out that the Gardaí had released it. A male sports star from Ireland, a very well known male sports star from Ireland, was under questioning for sexual assault. And if this is the case, this would have been his second sexual assault in Dublin in 2 years. So this was part of it too. So that when he went to Russia, Khabib was like, they have like this Twitter war back and forth, and McGregor's like, you're a fucking pussy, blah blah blah, and then Khabib's like, he's like, I'll fight you in Moscow, and then Khabib's like, nah, we don't let rapists in Moscow. It's like, oh my god. But
and I would say that's probably a false statement from Moscow.
Yeah, probably. But they had like, there's so much news around it, like so many crazy things happen in these press conferences. Like, he's there, and the guy like asks him in Russian something like, "What's the story with you and your your sexual misconduct now?" And the lady's like, "That's not up for questions now." And McGregor, it doesn't seem like so.
It's quite a poor. It does. But it sounds like an Irish journalist.
But he's like, he's like sitting there like totally dumb to what the question is, because it's all being translated. But she's like, no, we're not going to be asking these questions today, And he's like, do proper 12 in front of me.
What's up with you
Life
and your
is
sexual
good.
misconduct?
Oh, mate.
Right.
What the? No, it wasn't like what's up with your sexual. It was it was a legitimate question. But then another guy threw like a water bottle at him. Did you see this?
No.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious. He's like standing there, like, he sounded like Steve McLaren when Steve McLaren went to the Dutch League. He was there for like 3 weeks, and he, like, one of his press conferences, he's like, I train with the players, and you're like, Steve, you're from England, mate. What the fuck is this? It's a fucking English interview. You're not from the Netherlands. And that's how he was like responding, like, and the guy's like, you insult my family, you call us all like something like fucking Neanderthals or something stupid like that, and then he's like, are all of my brothers, my father, me, am I like? And he's like, yeah. It's like, oh my god, it's like, dig up, Connor, dig up.
It is one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube, is when, like, you've got a super arrogant fighter, whether he's like dancing in the ring or he's like disrespecting somebody's family. Or I was watching one where, like, at the head to head, like the boxer slapped the other boxer's girlfriend's ass, and then it skips to the fight, and the guy being a dickhead just gets slaughtered. Like, that's always a good one for me.
Yeah,
I like karma. Well, it wasn't quite instant karma, but
yeah,
is there? And there was do you see the MMA fight this week? That was the shortest fight ever. It was 5 seconds.
No, I didn't see it.
The guy came in, just went. I guess he was pretty much just stretching out. The guy does a massive kick, catches him in the knee, like catches his head to knee, and then he's like straight out within 5 seconds. It's done.
Wow.
Boom. But we're talking. We're going to do some Tyson Fury. So,
but do you want to leave it till later, or do you want to do it now? We do it now. Yeah,
we can do another sports section. I've got 2 more sports stories. Which are pretty good. We can leave it till later.
Yeah, because it's there's a lot going on at the moment. Huh?
There is. It's hard to tell where we're gonna fit it all in, but I've still got a lot of good stuff to go through.
All right.
We're halfway through the show,
yeah.
And I think it's time for my favorite headline of the week.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we should get a little jingle for that, like
yeah,
something better than that.
Okay.
We'll pay somebody. Okay. Okay, my favorite headline of the week. I didn't read it, so don't ask too many questions about it. And
enjoyed the headline.
I enjoyed the headline. We're going back to the gaggle of scientists have been working hard this week and have discovered that rats feel less stressed when driving little cars. No, this is from the BBC. So this is they're not always as impartial as they say they are, but I think they're they do their research. I think it's
I don't know where the impartiality would come there. It's like.
All the mice are going, no.
Well, we are funded by a company that makes cars for rats.
So yeah.
But I would like to know more. Awesome. Was it? No, there's no more.
I don't know what else do you want to know? Like.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point. What else is there?
I think it says it all. That's just it. Like rats feel less stress when driving little cars. I mean, I assume it's less stress than. I mean. If I'm stuck in a cage, about to have maybe the top of my head cut off, electrodes stuck in, while they set fire to my testicles to see if that's stressful enough. And then they put me in a little car
while they test the Jacuzzi on me. No animals were hurt in the making of this product,
but there were a lot of relaxed rats. I'll tell you that. Yeah, so. I don't know why this would be a test and why it would be beneficial for anything.
And how the fuck do you get funding for something like that?
Yeah. So are now all these controversial animal testing sites, are they now going to get little cars for all the... Well, if it works in rats, are we going to have...
Do you mean like a down day? It's like Sunday. Yeah. Hey guys, Sunday we're not doing any testing. We got a couple of cars for you. Just drive around the lab, enjoy yourselves. We'll be back to work on Monday.
Rush hour is about to get much more exciting when you've got little capuchin monkeys flipping you off. It's like, you're meant to be less stressed. Come on.
Russian dashcam is going to be even better.
But have you seen the price of oil right now? It cost me a fortune to fill up my little car. I'm like, why didn't you get an electric one?
What about gender reveal parties?
Again, love to watch them go wrong. And I know which. Okay,
you know which one I'm talking about.
Go for it.
Well, this again, don't know if it was this week, last week, but a gender reveal party went really badly wrong when a lady who was present died of an explosive device.
Correct.
And it was a homemade explosive device to release glitter of either blue or pink, in relation to whether or not it was a boy or a girl. But it was almost made like a pipe bomb, so when it exploded, a piece of shrapnel flew, did it say 40 meters? Because there was over 100 meters was the span of the detonation. It's crazy.
Yeah. Where was this? Do you remember?
It's in the US somewhere. It was
yeah, I mean, that sucks.
No, I don't know. It was in the US somewhere, yeah.
Was it a boy or a girl? we can while you're all
and what was the color? No,
I'm
God,
sorry.
What a terrible but it's gone out of hand, no? Like, I mean, it's like used to be like a baby shower, but now it's like there's the before party of the baby shower, you know?
Yeah, and it's like a lot of them seem really seems stupid now that somebody's died, but bad for there's a lot of balloons getting released and all this kind of crap, and it's just
everything
getting very costly, and it just seems,
of course, it's just it seems so ridiculous, and it's almost like, you know, that whole thing whenever you were growing up, maybe your parents never said this to you, but they're like, oh, that like Mother's Day or Valentine's Day, well, it was made up for the fucking greeting cards company.
Yep.
And it kind of feels something similar. It's like a Hallmark moment, you know? It feels like it's made up just to create more industry in an industry that didn't exist.
Totally agree. And I wonder, maybe this story is made up by Hallmark to say, like, don't make your own stuff because people will die.
Or to
buy ours.
Or to sell more commiseration cards.
Yeah, it's a win-win for them.
Yeah,
they're like,
perfect.
Unfortunately, someone had to die, but now nobody will make their own
the
pipe
amount
bombs.
Of cards.
And I think people are a little self-involved. Like, I don't think I've ever given a shit. Like, I'm always excited when a friend is like, is
Up the duff
and have a baby coming. That's great. I can give a shit what gender it is. Like, if I was at one of these gender reveals, exactly. I guess maybe mom and like the grandparents, and it's cool for them. But I would have to fake a smile.
Yeah.
About, oh, it's a girl. Like, I give a fuck.
I've noticed.
If it was a boy,
I've noticed that this trend has not taken off in China.
I'm just like straight off the cliff. Wait, what is it? It's they don't want
girls.
They don't want girls.
But it's become such a problem too. So there's whole towns with just like 90% population male, and I read this really. It wasn't supposed to be a funny article, but I read this funny article recently about it, and it was just sounded so humorous, like how things could go so badly wrong when you like start fucking with like human evolution, or like how humans are supposed to procreate. And the lady's like, I went through this town and all I seen were young adults sitting around in groups and no females. And you're like, she's like, they look so depressed, they've got nothing to do. But I'm also like, yeah, but the women don't give you something to do unless you're married, I suppose. But like, it was just so ridiculous, like, that these people then had to leave town to go to cities to get women. Yeah,
Tinder must be
God
savage. It must be like the Purge or some shit on there, like where that would be a 10-to-1 ratio would be a tough high school to go to.
That would be a brutal high school dance, no?
No. And I want to apologize to any of my
Chinese friends.
My Chinese friends, but any of my friends that are listening who have recently told me the birth of their child that I was at. It was a genuine excitement, and I was just. The last little bit I did was just for comedy value. I was obviously very excited.
Why are your fingers crossed?
No, actually, I don't think any of my friends have done a gender reveal.
I think it's a ridiculous thing. Sorry, and I will say it to your face, but it started in 2008. Like, this fucking thing started with Instagram, like or social media in general. This. It's not even further. Yeah. The only reason I'm saying that is because the lady who supposedly started the trend, how she done it was she baked a cake, and on the inside the coloured icing was the gender of the boy or girl. But she's like, and then she put it on Instagram, or she blogged about it, and then it became such a big thing that it started this whole worldwide thing that people do now. And she's like, oh my god, I never thought this would happen. And like, my kid is now 2008, 11 years old, and my kid now, she's a girl, but she wears suits. She wears male suits, and she likes to play with male toys, and she's like, then it goes into that other conversation about fluidity and non-sexual or whatever the fuck it is now. But like, she's just like, shouldn't be such a big deal if we have so many other things that like we're talking about with children nowadays that are non-conforming, so
when you open it up, should be like a rainbow comes
exactly out or something. It's like it's a person.
There was. I do want to name and shame somebody a little. Well, not shame, but
yeah, shame.
Wes Goodman. All right, not a good guy, but because he's an anti-LGBT supporter. Okay, so he's a politician and he's a legislator in Ohio for the Republican Party. And has been outspokenly very anti-LGBT, and he is married to a female, and
good for him,
and had to resign this week because he was caught having sex. Well, he didn't have to, but he did resign because he was caught having sex with a man in his office. So I love these are the kind of stories I love. Somebody being like just such an asshole, and then I don't know where that comes from. I guess it comes from fear or something, or like it's like, okay, I don't want somebody to know I'm gay or something,
That
so
it goes
I
the
go
total
the opposite
spectrum,
way.
yeah.
So he's obviously like a very scared and weak human being.
Yeah.
But good for him, man. Fucking hopefully now he can come out of the closet and be whoever he wants to be. It's just sad that he's had to spend so much of his life a lie. And
I heard after he resigned, he became a resident DJ at Pasha in Ibiza.
Nice. There we go. Did he have a unicorn down his sides?
Yeah, love it. Did you see the 400 kilos of meth? That was...
You saw nothing.
You saw nothing. Did you see the 400 kilos of meth that was smuggled into Australia in sriracha bottles?
No. Is that why it's so Moorish?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't have enough sriracha.
Exactly. I'm like, more sriracha, and says like, you're eating cornflakes. More sriracha. I gotta do a 10K after this.
Was it blended into the mixture, or was it like
No.
like it was like a fake bottle or something? You
No,
unscrew it, or?
according to the Aussie police, they were saying that it was like a really sophisticated way that it was done. So the meth was actually suspended inside the sriracha. So it was inside the bottle, but it didn't touch the edges. It was like suspended.
So maybe like there's a little string coming off the top, and then like a little baggie or something.
Yeah, how they
inside,
described it actually was that the person needed to know a lot about chemistry to actually make it happen. So for me, I was like, exactly, Heisenberg. But I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't attached to anything. Maybe they put something around it to make it float or something. But it was like, yeah, 400 kilos of it. It was a net worth of $300 million.
Ooh, somebody got killed.
Yeah. So there's like 4 Aussie bogans just.
I'd love to give it a not. I wouldn't love to be a drug dealer, but I'd love to work for like one of those companies where they test the security of other companies. So I'm not doing anything illegal, but it's my job to try and smuggle like some heroin or something on like.
Yeah.
Over international borders.
You're
I think
saying,
that would be quite interesting.
So what you're saying is, I would like to do the illegal shit just to like feel the rush of it, but it not to be illegal at the end of it.
Yes, exactly. I have no interest in selling drugs to anybody or doing drugs or anything like that. But I'd like I see it as like a puzzle, like a little game to try and like get this through the security.
Yeah, if anyone's listening, Alan is looking for a job.
I'm gonna put it I'm gonna put it in the little cars that the rats are driving.
No, don't say it beforehand.
Oh yeah, shit.
Don't say it beforehand.
Get them to meet me at the bottom there. Like, hey, Ronald.
So what else are we talking about, mate?
Another quick. Well, we've had a couple of depressing headlines. We're trying to like doing good news. We've had a few that have been involved death, but there's always one headline that makes me giggle a little bit, and it's usually when hunters meet their end with things that they're trying to kill. Because it's like, so there was a hunter killed this week. So he shot a deer. Deer went down, I think, or a buck. So it had big antlers. I guess he went over to check it out, and like the deer or
Gored him,
took him down.
Shit.
And when they found him, so I think he'd been there for wouldn't have been a pleasant death for the gentleman.
Oh my god!
Where
was
the
this?
deer had fucked off. It was in the US.
The deer had fucked off.
Yeah, so the deer was fine. So he went down. He's like, "All right, fucker, come on, get a little closer, hiya!" And
it's like me, myself, and Irene. What is it like? Prize-winning cow shot 29 times in the head and still survived.
It just feels like it's such a shitty way to go when, like, I guess if you need to be a hunter, you've got to you want to feel like you've got big balls, and then if a fucking deer, well, and you're it's like he's got like essentially a knife on his head, and you're tackling him with like a fucking automatic rifle or a rifle or whatever. It's not really a fair fight to start off with. And when I just like underdog winning, like
put down the gun. Take those big balls and put them in a Testicle Jacuzzi.
And relax. Enjoy.
Now, if you are looking for marketing for Testicle Jacuzzi, you can get in touch with us anytime.
Yeah. We'll get that deer on the show.
Yeah.
He'll just chill in the background.
I saw a funny one about a Chinese takeaway that these people got a Chinese takeaway in the UK, and they found a human tooth. It was a molar. It was massive. And they were like so disgusted, obviously, that they called the Chinese takeaway. And they said, "What the fuck? We just found a human tooth in our meal." And the guy's like, "Nah, that's not a human tooth. That's gristle." She's like, "No, it's not gristle." And he's like, "Oh, it's probably just really fried onion." so of course, the age of the internet, these people took a photo of it and then put it up on like, it's a fucking tooth, like you can see it's a tooth, you see the roots, everything. It's just disgusting. And I just loved that was like, at least, you know what, at least with the Sunday, Bloody Sunday, they came out and said, "We are really sorry about this." These guys were just like, "Nah, man, that's gristle or an onion." What the fuck? I'm gonna show you.
I wonder if while he answered the phone, he was just checking all his teeth with his tongue. You know, which one fell out?
Yeah.
He's probably the gentleman that found the $300 million worth of meth, and it's just been like having a good weekend.
Yeah, everything falling out. I just thought that was really funny.
That is, but where did they say where the tooth came from? Like,
I think someone's
one
mouth.
of the the scientists have been getting in their gaggle again. They're like, okay, we need to figure out where this came from.
We need to know where this came. No, there's nothing to say where it came from because they're denying it, obviously. Yeah. But I'm sure at this point they're closed down. Yeah. Pending investigation.
Well, I'm just wondering if there's like
dental investigation.
Did they use a human body for their sweet and sour chicken, or is it just like a chef that's like?
Yeah, that's actually a really legit point. I never thought of that. Like, how does something with a root fall out of your mouth into a curry, and then you're like, I didn't notice that.
Okay. It's
not like a fingernail. That's okay.
Talking about fingernails.
Okay.
Awesome. I can't believe you brought up fingernails. I do have one I want to snip in. There is a gentleman who has saved all his nail clippings, fingers and toes, for the entire year. What do you think would be the best thing to do with a collection like that?
Oh, he's gonna like melt it with resin and make a fucking coffee table or something.
Close. Not quite a coffee table. He made an engagement ring.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. So they blended them all down and then I guess, resined it or something, or crushed it in a little ball, smoothed it all off, and it looked like a little black emerald,
yeah.
You couldn't really tell it was made out of nail clippings, but that was. So he made it into an engagement ring. It does not say if she said yes or not, but it's kind of gross.
I think she would say yes. He's a very creative man.
Yeah, I'd maybe prefer the tooth in my Chinese.
Maybe actually
some of these toenail clippings.
It might be more appealing.
Shout out to my dad for that little one.
Really?
Gem.
Oh, yeah. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Oh, and I did get so remember when we were talking about who if Halloween was Scottish or Irish?
Yeah.
So I got onto it and was like, "You made me look like a dick last week, Dad. What were your references?" He's like, "Well, I read it in the Daily Record." I was like, "Great, fucked." All right, so there we go.
Oh, fuck off! Because I was chatting to you about this last week, and then you're like, well, my dad has sent on some references, and I was like, shit, fucking historians and whatnot, and then I was starting to try to look up, and I was like, nah, fuck it, I don't know who I'm even going to start looking up to to prove the opposite way.
Yeah, when he said it was a Daily Record, I didn't even bother opening it up. I was like, all right, fine, Union wins, whatever. Yeah. All right, we are at 53 minutes. So
can we go back to the sports then? That was good fun.
Yeah, we've got some sports. I've got 3 more. Yeah. Okay, let me squeeze in one before we start talking about Tyson Fury, because there's just so much going on with this
Handsome
Gypsy
man.
King, I think he refers to
the
himself.
Gypsy King, yeah.
The Gypsy King. I've got some Beckham news.
Oh?
Not David.
Brooklyn?
It's his son, Brooklyn. Yeah, have you seen this one? Have you seen his new girlfriend?
No.
So Brooklyn Beckham is dating a girl that used to work as his mom. So Spice Girls, Victoria Beckham, Scary Spice. So she used to work as
she
her...
was Posh Spice.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. She's just terrifying. She used to work as a Posh Spice lookalike. So he is
fuck off.
No.
You have to pull this picture
I've got
up.
the picture here. You ready?
Oh, this is just so strange.
Da-da-da-da-da. So that's his girlfriend.
She is pretty hot.
Yeah, she is hot, but so is Posh Spice.
His mom is hot too, but
yeah. But they look very similar.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever...
He says it's not Freudian, but I think that's probably what anybody would say.
And has David tackled her yet?
I think officially, no.
How you love? You alright?
This is from The Sun, but I saw it in a couple of places. So.
I saw David Beckham on one of these like talk shows. It might have been Graham Norton, and
love Graham Norton.
I really love Graham Norton, but they were talking about how mean he is to his son, because his son is really like trying to get into this age of like Instagram influencers and stuff like that. So he's trying to get like 1 million followers.
Oh,
like,
okay.
So he told his dad like that was like, or told his dad, I think he told his viewers like, I'm trying to get 1 million, and then David then started like fucking with him when he was doing his live videos and stuff. So he would like walk into the room and like chastise his son just like on badness for no reason, and his son would be like, Dad! Like, so Brooklyn's like, ah, and
surely that was just to get more followers.
But then he's like taking photographs. So he's like with this cashmere sweater, and then it's like someone's like, oh, you look fucking kick ass and blah blah blah, and then David Beckham himself then underneath it is like, that's my fucking jumper. It's like,
I wonder if they do a good cop, bad cop kind of thing then. And like David's the bad cop, Posh Spice is the good cop, and that's why Brooklyn wants to fuck his mum.
Maybe. Maybe. Brooklyn and Romeo, and I'm sure there's another one, is there?
Oh, it's like Golden Gate Bridge or something.
Yeah. Ayers Rock.
They're all mental names, yeah.
Do you think if they called it Ayers Rock, they would have to change it?
Oh, so the kid would now have to legally change his name to Uluru, and nobody would be allowed to climb up him.
Formerly known as Ayers Rock.
Possibly. All right, Tyson Fury. What was your... So, for those of you who don't know, he's called the Gypsy King. He is... he's from the traveling community and has become like quite a big personality in the world of heavyweight boxing. He's a big lad. He'd been out of... He'd been in retirement for a little bit because he was having mental health problems, but he's now training, and he is back in the limelight like a mother.
In that time that he was having mental health issues, he put on 14 stone. Yeah, he put on 14 stone. His diet consisted of like lager and pies.
That's like 2 Posh Spices.
Maybe that's what we should equate weight in from now on. But yeah, no, he really trimmed down and became fantastic again. So yeah, good for him.
Yeah, so he won his big fight, his comeback fight, and he's got a few fight planned. But what was your like number one Tyson Fury news story of this week?
Oh, good, that he's trying to make a breakthrough into the WWE.
Yes, I thought that would be your number one, because that's not my number one.
Oh, no way. Okay.
So yeah, he has like a bit of a beef going with one of the WWE fighters, and so they're going to do... I think he's going to like do a bit of a wrestling thing. So he was throwing chairs and all the classic stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting watch. But
you watch it and it's
not,
clearly acting.
Yeah,
before
acting,
the boxing
so
matches, he's also acting a little bit to get the promotion. But when he gets in, he's just like a machine. But this just seems so farcical to watch him do this. He's not good at it at the moment. So it's funny to watch.
So my one, I think, went under the radar a little bit, but Tyson Fury is also going for a Christmas #1. He's duetting with Robbie Williams.
No way. This is under the radar.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It just popped, it was because he's been doing so much crazy shit the last couple of weeks. This just kind of popped in as the last, ending sentence in one of the interviews. It's like, oh yeah, and also I'm duetting with Robbie Williams, and we're going to get Christmas #1.
Fucking hell. I saw this evening before it came out. It was I think he's lined up for a couple of fights next year already, and he's lined up for a fight with Devontae Jr. or something like that.
Big money.
Big money fight. But he's also calling out Anthony Joshua, and I am an Anthony Joshua fanboy. I watched his documentary and I really liked him, and I was like, this guy is the balls. He is so good. He still lives at home with his mom, or at least he did with the documentary. And he was he was the world #1 at that point, and just a machine. And he started boxing at 24 or something, and he was a brekkie who used to smoke weed. And then someone said, "You've got the stature of a boxer. You should go to the gym and get out of the drugs." And he did. And then he, in 6 years, he went to the Olympics and then became the world heavyweight champion. He was he's brilliant. He was just recently beaten, but what's his face, Tyson just called him out, I think. So that's going to be exciting.
That'll be a big match for sure. That'll be cool.
So right. we're there. 1 hour. We hit the nail on the head.
Done it.
Do we have anything more?
I'll just squeeze in a couple of headlines.
Go for it.
Kanye West. So bit of music news. He's declared himself the greatest artist of all time.
I did see that.
Good for him.
He said he was greater than Picasso or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Quite an accolade. So
yep.
Well done, Kanye.
For that.
Turns out we're the greatest podcast of all time.
And that is also legit because we said it.
Yeah. So,
self-praise is no praise.
I don't want to end on this. This is kind of depressing. No, I'll miss it.
Yeah, that's good.
Done. What
done.
an awesome episode. If I don't say I think it was the greatest episode of any podcast.
Okay,
ever.
Donald Trump. Keep it in the pants. Or put it in a test jacuzzi. Whatever you want to do.
I know, we try. Oh, it's right at the end, so nobody's listening anyway. But did you see? I think it was this week or last week that he was doing one of his rallies, and he was like, it was one of the build the wall things. Build the wall, build the wall. It was like how he's super excited to build the wall in Colorado, which is on the border of New Mexico, and it's not the border of
No way. He just likes building, man. He's just like a kid with Lego. He's like, more Lego!
We try not to mention politics, but it's so difficult. He's
this
such
is
a
not politics.
fucking muppet. All right. Sweet, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We'll see you next week or in 2 weeks. We're being kind of sporadic, keeping you on your toes.
You know it. And ourselves.
Exactly. Happy Halloween, and we shall see you next time. Cheers, guys.
Later.